Hello, this is Leisha Breen with Journey to Greatness, 365 days to your best year yet. Today, I want to talk about worrying and how important it is to move on from it. It was once said, worry never robs tomorrow of its sorrow. It only saps today of its joy. And isn't it true? And I know, as a matter of fact, personally, that with this last year and a half or so, with the coronavirus and our political environment and illness that has struck many of our friends and family, either emotionally or physically due to the coronavirus, this has been a really stressful year. And if it isn't because something happened to us personally, it's the concern that it could. And the truth is that worry can serve an important purpose. If we worry about something today, we can actually take action to avert a problem tomorrow. So it can help us anticipate the future. But the problem is, if we ruminate on that, then we're losing our personal power. We're not able to go beyond the worry and actually get on the solution level. And sometimes when we get ourselves so scared, we can't use our imagination, we can't use our creativity, because the amygdala, the fight or flight center of the brain, has taken over. And when it takes over, creativity goes out the window, and you have to be creative to problem solve, to get on the solution level. And a lot of the time when it comes to worry, we're worrying about things that are beyond our control, or about things that are trivial or really unimportant. I mean, if you think back on last week, how many times were you worried about something that really wasn't important at all? Maybe it was something that was said about you, or you're imagining the worst thing that could happen at work, and you really don't have any facts to base your concerns on. So it's our imaginations running amok. Now, whenever I worry, I remind myself to step back and ask myself whether my worry serves a purpose. And I was a huge worrier and continue to worry off and on. I mean, I'm human. We're all human, and it's natural. It's a form of self-preservation. But it's when we spiral downward with it that we have to become aware. And we have to stop and think and be mindful and actually ask if our worry is serving a purpose. If it is serving a purpose, then we have to take action. If, however, it's not serving a purpose, then we need to label our preoccupation with the worry as unnecessary, and we have to move on to more useful activities and thoughts that are involving our time. Now, I know it's really difficult to initially shift the focus away from worry if you've fallen down that rabbit hole. But if you do step back, if you catch yourself worrying and you ask yourself some really good questions and you challenge the worry, you will build a muscle that allows you to question what you're worried about. And most of the time, we're not aware. So we just, like I said, fall down that rabbit hole of worry, and we get lost in it. And it, like I said, it's so easy right now to fall into worry and let it cascade over us because we get riddled with fear. And it just doesn't have to be that way. We have more control than we think. A lot of people right now are worrying about losing their jobs. There's so much uncertainty. And our brain will do everything it can to regain certainty, even if it means scaring ourselves half to death that something bad, quote unquote, is going to happen when we don't even have the facts to prove that it's going to happen. Ask yourself this. Have you had any of these questions pop up in your mind over the past year? What'll happen if I lose my job? What if I never get to travel again, like ever again? Will I ever test positive for COVID? And if I do, will I die from it? Have you had these thoughts? Have they crossed your mind maybe over the past few months? If you've said yes, know that it's completely normal. And that being said, were they simply fleeting thoughts, or did they have a grip on you to the point of chronic worry and then that turning into anxiety? You see, when this happens, this is called a chronic worry loop. And it's literally when a negative thought or concern spirals out of control in your head. You worry all day long with no positive outcome in sight. And that's where I'm saying that we have to get on the solution level. We have to snap out of it. And we may still be feeling those negative feelings in our chest and in our body. We may be feeling depressed because we've made ourselves so frightened. But we have to be aware that we're in that place. And when we become aware, we have to start taking actions to step out of it. Now, if you've been spiraling downward with worry and concern and fear for a while, it may take some time to get out of it. It may take a week or two, probably at the longest. But as I said yesterday, if you're mindful, if you practice mindfulness meditation and calm the mind, if you get out and exercise more than you're doing right now, and if you focus on what you're grateful for, these are just some of the steps that you can take to snap out of a worry loop. You may ask yourself, why do I worry? Worrying about a future event allows people to prepare for negative outcomes. Foreseeing a negative scenario allows us to plan for it, which helps us stave off the uncertainty. Our mind perceives anything uncertain as downright fearful. It believes that uncertainty threatens our survival, and for this reason, the mind thinks it is justified in creating these endless worry loops. So as I said at the beginning of the podcast, basic preparedness, becoming aware of the possibility of something that is concerning, is a good thing. But when it becomes problematic is when the worrying becomes chronic and these negative thought spirals take over our lives. When this happens very quickly, life becomes a series of worst-case scenarios, one calamity after another that starts playing out in our head. And as we know, energy flows where our attention goes. And that's why it's critical to snap out of a worry loop. If you don't have control over something that may be coming at you, then you need to grab control of what you can get power over. The more you feel empowered, the more you feel like you're taking your life back, the more empowered you're going to become, and the more creativity you'll be able to tap into. Because again, when it comes to getting on the solution level, it comes down to using your creative thinking skills. And it has been proven by science that if you are encapsulated in fear, there is no way you can tap into creativity. So, as I said, exercise raises your vibration. It does so by oxygenating the body and raising those endorphins. And I'll share just a little story with you. I was really concerned with some of the things that was going on with my work. I'm still concerned. My company has filed Chapter 11, which is a restructuring, and it's involving lease renegotiations. My company is International, the company I work for. And in the United States in particular, the leases were extremely expensive. And for my company to exist, they had to file Chapter 11 to renegotiate the leases. In doing so, they closed 25 of our stores. And I just recently found out that they're going to close 20 more. I'm not sure that they're going to close my location, but I'll have to admit when I found out that 20 more were going to be cut, my concerns grew, because that is how I make my income right now. I started to get worried. I started to get scared. I started to spiral downward, and boogeymans were in every corner. And I've been working there for almost 10 years. So a lot's changed in the last 10 years, by the way. But what I decided to do was immediately start looking at other jobs and applying for some things that I was interested in. And that started to empower me. I started to feel better. I started to feel like I was getting my power back. And I also upped my exercise. I also increased and made sure that I was meditating every single day instead of being intermittent. I meditate almost every day. But as I started to become more upset, I made sure that I was meditating at least 30 minutes a day. And I couldn't skip a day because I needed to work on my breathing. I needed to calm my mind. And I needed to get on the solution level instead of being so reactive. When I get scared, I'm like a deer standing in front of a car, deer in the headlights situation. And I learned later on in life, a lot of things I learned later on in life, that it was just so important to become aware of the fact that I was frightened or worried and that I couldn't allow myself to get stuck. And like I said, the 3 ways that I get unstuck real quick is through mindfulness, exercise, and then really thinking about what I'm grateful for. And just to share a gratitude tip, I love to ride my bike. I love being outside with nature. And it doesn't matter how you do that. You could be on a kayak, like one of my friends who loves to go out on her kayak in Wisconsin on the rivers. Just beautiful. She sent me gorgeous pictures of her on this kayak just soaking in nature. And you can't help but go out in nature and notice the beauty around you, regardless of what state you're in. I'm in Palm Springs, California. And when I'm on my bike, I see the beautiful mountains and the beautiful palm trees. And I like to go out just as the sun is rising, and I get to see the sunrise reflecting itself on all the gorgeous Palm Springs palm trees as they flicker and reflect the sun's light. And I hear birds chirping, and it's very uplifting. And when I go into nature, I am automatically grateful for everything I see around me. So worry can help you wake up to perhaps something you need to pay attention to. But once you're aware of what it is that you need to pay attention to, then you need to take action and get on the solution level immediately, because you're going to get your power back that way. If you are aware of worry that is meaningless and mindless, if it's related to gossip or if it's related to what people think about you, let me give you something to think about on that. What you think about me is none of my business. It takes discipline to really believe that, because we all want to be liked. We all want to fit in. But if you're worrying about what someone else thinks, that's one of those things that falls into that category that you have no control of. People are going to think all kinds of things about you, good and bad, and all within one day they're going to think all kinds of things about you. People formulate opinions about others all the time. Your concern is not what they think about you, but what you think about you. So let it go. That is not where you want to be placing your energy. It's a waste of energy and a waste of time. So I hope I've given you something to think about today. We all have more power than we give ourselves credit for, but we have to use it. We have to wake up. We have to be aware that we have a choice as to how we want to respond to the imagined things that are coming at us and those things that are real. But we have the power to take action, and sometimes these situations are uncomfortable and we don't like them. But whether we like them or not, we have to handle them, and wallowing in self-pity or in fear isn't going to help us get out of anything that could be troubling. So with all of that said, let's get into our mini mindfulness meditation for the day. It's always about a 2-minute meditation to 3 minutes. So if you want to, sit up straight in a dignified fashion and let's get to it. Okay, are you ready? Today we are breathing in the light. We are going to breathe the light into our bodies. Now to begin, sit up straight in that dignified fashion and close your eyes. And let's take 3 deep breaths in and then exhale through our mouth. So here we go. Deep breath in and exhale. Deep breath in and exhale. Deep breath in and exhale. Continue to take deep breaths and imagine a ball of light in your toes. Each time you inhale, imagine that ball of light is growing in your body. Notice as it spreads from your toes, up through your calves, up through your thigh, from your legs, up through your stomach, imagine that ball of light in your stomach. And now, leaving your stomach and moving up through your chest. And now that ball of warm light is in your chest and now moving into your arms. And from your arms, it's moving into your hands and now into your fingertips. Now imagine that light filling your head. Now take time to notice how you feel. Does this make you feel calm? Does it make you feel warm? Or does it make you feel something else? Once you have noticed your feeling, take another deep breath in through your nose and release through your mouth. And now together, let's take 3 deep breaths in through our nose and then release through the mouth. In through the nose and release. In through the nose and release. In through the nose and release. And now you can open your eyes. Well, I want to wish you all a very happy day, and I hope that you'll let your worries go. That if you have a bona fide worry, that you're going to stop those emotional downward spirals of negativity and look that worry square in the eye and start finding solutions to overcome that problem or that challenge. And if the worry that you're experiencing is unworthy of your time and your energy, then let it go. Let it go. Just like that song from Frozen. Let it go, let it go. All right. Be bold, be brave, and always, always be your authentic self. Remember to take action, massive action. Bye for now.